If you're about to exit drop, you might be wondering, what is a safe place I can put my money but still get a good return to try to keep up with this crazy inflation? We're going to go over my top 3 picks for 2023 in this video. Okay, as you all know, there's no one investment that suits every single person. So as I go into the different investments in this video, just know that it might be appropriate for some, maybe not for others, but maybe this will give you a little bit of guidance and information about how to make a wise decision when thinking about your investments, especially safe investments. The number one investment I want to talk about is a liquid, what we call a parking account. If you've ever seen our videos, we talk a lot about a parking account, and that's mainly because I think it should be part of every retiree's portfolio. Now, it might not be for all of your money because you want to make sure that some of your money is growing, but a parking account is something that's fixed and liquid and safe. So you might have a money market. You might have a fixed investment inside of your 403B or 457. You might just have a bunch of money in savings. Those are all parking accounts. And historically, over the last 10 to 15 years, parking accounts have paid virtually nothing. Maybe 0.5% on a savings account, maybe 2% on a really good money market, maybe 3% on a really good, or 3.5% on a really good deferred comp fixed account. Well, now, because interest rates have finally gone up in 2023, we are seeing over 4% in these parking accounts. We personally have a 4.05% parking account, meaning that money, that liquid, kind of your safety bucket, can make 4.05%, which is fantastic. The issue of 4.05% is it's still not quite keeping up with where inflation is today, but it's a pretty good option for those of you who are looking for safety, liquidity. Maybe you think you might have to supplement your income. Maybe you don't know what retirement's going to be like. And maybe you just want, some of that extra money available in case you want to go on a trip or put a down payment on a house, something like that. You can use a parking account, make 4.05% as of 2023. The next fixed account I really like is what's called a MYGA. So MYGA stands for multi-year guarantee annuity. Now, I know you're thinking annuity, that's income. No, they work just like CDs. They have a fixed interest rate for a set period of time, but they're issued by insurance companies, okay? So what I like about these is they're still fixed, but they will typically pay more than a CD. When I looked it up, I looked up bankrate.com, and I'll link that down below. I looked up bankrate.com CDs. The average 5-year CD was paying less than 4.5%. As I filmed this, there are 5-year MYGAs paying upwards of 5.4 to 5.6%, depending on the liquidity. There are some other pros about the MYGAs over CDs. If it's non-qualified money, that means that it's after-tax money. Then you can actually have that tax deferred, so you can control the taxes in there as opposed to a CD where you get taxed on it every year. Or if it's qualified, then it'll typically grow more than a set CD. Now, I like these accounts for people who want to take the interest off every year of their account. Because let's say that you put the money in, let's say you have $100,000, and you say, well, I just want to put the money in, but I want to draw the interest off and keep my principal where it is. Well, this is a really good option because it's going to give you, say, 5.5%, and that 5.5% you can draw off and keep your principal exactly where it is. 5.5% on 100,000, $5,500 a year. That's pretty good. Or you could just let the money sit there and compound over that time period. The downfall of these accounts is there is a time commitment. So right now, 2 years is the minimum that I know about that we have. All the way up to 7 years makes sense. Past 7 years, the interest rates actually decrease a little bit. So really that 2 to 7 year window, as I record this, is kind of the sweet spot for those MYGAs. So if you're looking for a guaranteed interest rate, but something that's a little bit closer to where inflation is today, that might be a pretty good option. The last type of fixed account that I like, and I've liked these for a while, are fixed indexed accounts. Now these can be set up the same way like annuities, like the MYGA or CDs, But what I like about these accounts is the interest rate every year is linked to a stock market, typically the S&P 500, but there can be other ones as well. But let's say it's linked to the S&P 500. Well, they'll take a look from the time you go in till the time, a year later, and then they will see what the market does, and they will give you what's called your cap. So the most amount you're allowed to make. Now, historically, the problem with these accounts were the caps were 4, 5, maybe 6%. So if the S&P 500 went up 10%, you only got 6. If it went up 5%, you got 5. If it went negative, these accounts guarantee that you'll at least make 1% a year typically. Now some are 0, but the ones we usually typically 1%. So you'll make between 1 and 5 or 6. And the issue with that is you're probably thinking, well, I can get 5.6 guaranteed in the other account. Why would I do that? Well, now there are accounts that have caps at 10 to 13% as I record this, meaning that the interest rates, if the S&P 500 goes up by, let's say 15%, well, you get whatever your cap is, 10 to 13%, which is fantastic. It's actually the highest I have seen since 2008 in these types of accounts. So if you like the idea of being in the market, you like the idea of going up when stocks go up, but you don't want the risk and you don't want the volatility, this will take the volatility up and it'll give you the caps. The other thing is the S&P 500 over the last 20 years has averaged between 9 and 10%. So some of you are doing the math and saying, well, if I can get a 10 to a 13% cap and they take out all the risk, why not? Now, can the S&P 500 do 20 or 30% returns? Absolutely. And if you have a cap, you will not get all of those. But you will also not get the negative 20% or higher returns like we've seen in the last year. So just, something to think about. It's not for everyone. The other downfall of these accounts is they typically have a term. Remember I said they're like a CD, but they're linked to the market. Well, typically we see between 3 years to 10 years. So the 10-year one that I talked about, that's actually the 13% cap is a 10-year account. A 3-year account will have a lower cap, but it's still going to give you the opportunity to earn more than even the 5.5 or 5.6 MYGAs. So I'm going to link down below some information if you want to see it, or if you want to talk more about these types of accounts, whether it's for drop, whether it's for deferred comp, for other investments. I will go ahead and put the link below so we can talk. It's a quick 15 to 30 minute conversation where we can go over fixed accounts, whether or not they make sense for you, how much should go in each one. I personally don't recommend that all your eggs ever go in one basket. So I typically don't recommend that you put everything into one account. If you want to, it's your money, you can. But I like the idea of diversifying that, and maybe diversifying that and then still having a little bit of money in mutual funds and stocks and those types of accounts, but having your core retirement kind of shored up if you're looking for that. That being said, if this isn't your video, if you say, you know what, I'm okay going 100% in the market. I don't mind the swings. I know that long term it works its way out. We can help with that as well. But I just want to give you some options, because the number one conversation that I'm having right now with people who are retiring is, I really don't want to put my money somewhere where it might lose 20% in the next year. And if that's the case, these are a few good options. I hope it helped. Once again, links down below if you want to talk to me or one of the other financial advisors on our team. We'll talk to you soon.